Good evening, everybody. My name is Alex Rachowski. I am the founder of the Veteran Shark Tank. I want to welcome everybody to the 8th Veteran Shark Tank this evening on Monday, December 7th. Some of you are watching from the comfort of your own home. Some of you are watching it from online in the office. Some of you are watching it from military bases, and some of you are at sea serving our country. Tonight's event could not happen without our committee and committee chair, Joe Crandall. I want to thank everybody, and let's give a round of applause for our committee chair. So we come from humble beginnings. We come from humble beginnings where we started back in 2012, where we started as an event in Philadelphia, a small event where we were unknown. We wanted to do a pitch competition. There was the show, the Shark Tank. And in 2012, we just pieced together some entrepreneurs, and we got $5,000 from a donor, and then we gave out the money. And voila, that's how we started. So from there, we grew, and we didn't realize how much growth we were going to do. And we didn't realize how much impact we were going to have on the lives of our community and our veterans. So where it started was we used to have a competition where we have audience members, and now, before COVID, we had a sold-out audience kicking off Army-Navy Week with our finals. We have people from all over the country that comes here pitching, sponsoring, attending. It is one of the premier programs in place to help our veteran entrepreneurs. So we evolved over the years, just like every organization. It's a social entrepreneurship organization, learned from what we could do and how we help others. But one thing that we realized over time is the impact, not only that we had on our veteran entrepreneurs, but more importantly, the impact that we had on our businesses that were watching, on our community that was watching, and the narrative that was helping about how successful veteran businesses are and entrepreneurs. So the community, if you're watching, this is your first time, you're not a veteran, watch tonight, be inspired about all these veteran entrepreneurs, especially tonight because we are in a COVID environment. How inspiring is it to have 5 businesses that are going to pitch tonight and be here for a chance to win $50,000? So we evolved a few years ago that we went from a seating arrangement to a sit-down dinner and a show for the finals. We've had great partners in the past from across the country, from the Military Influencer Conference to other organizations across that has helped us get here where we are today. So we are thankful for our collaborative partners to make us successful. And again, as I told you, it takes an Army and a Navy and an Air Force and a Marine and a Coast Guard, all of them combined to build what we have. We need to be the community behind us. And one of our biggest supporters is our presenting sponsor, Comcast NBC Universal. Comcast NBC Universal has been partnering with us since 2016, when the first event they got in front of was our Shark Tank inside an aquarium. How inspiring was that? We were at the New Jersey Aquarium, sold-out audience. Next thing you know, we lifted the curtains, and it was all sharks around. There was nothing like people pitching their business in front of live sharks. And I'm not talking about the judges. So where we are, where we've evolved, we've gone to different areas to do that. From a veteran-owned company, we've used his event space, to the Union League, one of the most prestigious, where our founding fathers were, and historical events have laid, to the innovative center that we used last year of the Fittler Club. Comcast has been a great partner of ours since 2016 for over 4 years. And nationally, they do tremendous thing with our veterans, not only hiring them, but also mentoring them, also helping them lead to become better service leaders in our community, and also to buy and do business with veteran-owned companies. So Comcast has been one of the leaders in our community to be veteran-ready and veteran success. So without further ado, I want to turn it over to our presenting sponsor tonight. And I want to tell everybody, you better be ready to be inspired. So we're going to have some fantastic judges tonight. You're going to hear a little bit about the past. And our COVID environment will not slow us down. We are here to give $50,000 to the winner. We're here to build a support network and to help them continuously as they evolve their business. So without further ado, I would like to turn it over to Comcast NBC Universal.
We like to say that service matters. Service to our country, service to our communities, and service to our customers. And that's what our military talent brings to this Comcast family. MilDev, which is Military Influencer Leader Development, is our initiative to promote retention of our military hires.
The example that Comcast has set about the support for our veterans community and our military community sets a tremendously high bar for other companies to follow.
You know, coming out of the military into the civilian world is a transition. And so we want to help our military talent, our military employees, and their supporters understand some of those challenges. We have an incredible curriculum to support this initiative. We started out with understanding your brand. What are your values? What do you bring to the workplace?
Write down a goal. Underneath your goal, write down what is holding you back.
But we then continue with that. We brought in an incredible guest speaker, General Stanley McChrystal, and he talked to us about the myths of leadership.
So how do we reimagine and redefine leadership? Because it's pretty important.
What I've learned more than anything throughout this is we have a huge support system with Comcast. This was a team, a family, and I hadn't felt that since I was in the Army.
The commitment that Comcast has made to hiring military veterans, military community is awesome. I can't think of a better word.
It's like mind-blowing, the different things that I learned today. And now I'm motivated to go back and just be like, so let's get started. What can we do next?
If our participants take back all they've learned and share it with their colleagues back in their workplaces, then we've achieved our mission.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ed Carr, Director of Military Veteran Affairs from Comcast NBC Universal. We are very proud to once again be the presenting sponsor of this year's Veteran Shark Tank. This is our 5th year back with the Veteran Shark Tank, and we value this partnership because we consider ourselves a veteran-owned business. Our founder, Ralph Roberts, in 1963 went to Tupelo, Mississippi after completion of his naval service and founded Comcast. Today, we are proud to be one of the largest technology, media, and entertainment companies in the world. In 2016, at Comcast NBC Universal, we made a commitment to hire 10,000 people from the military community. Research has shown us that people from the military community have increased levels of team building, organizational commitment, adaptability, and they carry the entrepreneurial spirit. All of these are values that are common core with Comcast NBC Universal. In 2018, we hit our goal of 10,000 people from the military community, and today it remains one of our primary focal points of our organization. Once again, we are very happy and proud to be partnered with the Greater Philadelphia Veterans Network and to be the presenting sponsor of this year's Veteran Shark Tank. To all the contestants, I would like to wish you the best of luck. Thank you.
This event is not possible without the generosity of our sponsors. Each dollar pledged goes directly back to the veteran community. Thank you to our presenting sponsor, Comcast NBC Universal. Comcast is our presenting sponsor for the 4th year in a row. Thank you to our gold sponsors, Greencastle Consulting, JLL, Ally Construction Services, American Water, and new this year is Grow with Google. Special thank you to our bronze sponsors that include Exelon, Truist, Aqua, PwC, Enterprise, and St. Joseph's University. And new this year are Patriot sponsors, ListTrack, PEI, and the Movement Mortgage. Thank you to all of our sponsors. We couldn't have a show without your generous support.
those who don't know, I haven't been racing that long. Most of the drivers you see driving today, yesterday, for the rest of the weekend, a lot of them started driving when they're 5, 6 years old. I didn't start racing until about 3 years ago. Just from my background, just being in the military and stuff, I had to go off and deploy and go on deployments and underway with my ship for plenty of years before I got the opportunity to start pursuing my own personal goals and personal dreams. End goal is obviously to make it to the top level in NASCAR, but I know that doesn't happen quick. You got to learn a lot. There's people who have 10, 15 years of experience on me, and for me, every time I get on the track, my big thing is just to go out there, learn, try to get just a little bit better every single race, and then eventually I'll get to the point where I can be as competitive as the top guys in the series.
Going, everybody, it's Jesse Wuji. I'm a lieutenant commander in United States Navy and also a driver in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Thank you all for attending this year's Veterans Shark Tank. I know it's going to be an awesome event. I know it's been an awesome event over the last however long it's been going. But thank you all for attending and just being a dreamer. That's the biggest part of this whole thing. Being a dreamer, somebody who has a goal, has a dream, someone who's going after something powerful, something more than where they are right now. And that is you all. You all are taking that step. You're taking that chance. You're jumping out of the airplane. Before we get into some motivational stuff on just, how to really get your business going and get life going in the right direction, I'll give you just a little quick bit on my personal story. So for me, I'm originally from Dallas, Texas. Both of my parents immigrated from Nigeria to the U.S. back in the 80s. Before they came, my dad, before he immigrated over, when he was talking to his dad, my granddad basically told him, was like, son, when you go over to the United States of America, there's a lot of opportunity, and it will be a complete embarrassment and shame if you do not succeed. That's what he told him. He told his oldest son, hey, you're about to go over 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, however many miles away, and don't fail us. Like, straight up, don't fail us. And that's what he told them, because he knew there was a lot of opportunity in the United States of America, so much more than any other country. That's why we live here. There's so much opportunity, the land of opportunity, the land of freedom, the land where we can be whatever we want to be. And my granddad knew that. So when my dad came over here, he decided to settle in Dallas, Texas. He didn't have much to start. In fact, when my dad first came over here, he had $200 in his wallet, and his first taxi cab ride from the airport, pretty much the cab driver stole the money from him. He didn't have any money left after that. He took him on a joyride all around the city until my dad had no more money, because he knew my dad didn't know anything about this country and that he could take advantage of it. That was his first experience, but that was not going to stop him. That wasn't going to diminish this dream of having this American dream and building a life here, building a family. My dad quickly got on the grind, started getting his education, got his bachelor's degree, went and got his master's degree, did all that stuff, went back to Nigeria, married my mom, brought her back here to the U.S., ended up settling in Dallas, Texas, had me and my 2 brothers and my sister. And for those who don't know anything about Texas, football is king in this state. Growing up in Texas, that's all we knew was football. So growing up as a kid, all I aspired to be was a football player. And once I got to middle school and I was able to actually start playing football, I actually, I joined the team. I played on the team. I wasn't good at first. I was on the B team in 7th grade, on the B team in 8th grade. Going into 9th grade, I did not want to be on the B team anymore. I knew that I had big goals, big aspirations to go off to college and play college football. But the only way that was going to happen was if I was going to grind, I was going to put that energy in that and actionable steps every single day to get to my goals and get to my dreams. In order to do that, I had to work hard, and I did that. Eventually, I made the A team in 9th grade. I got better in 10th grade, got better in 11th grade, got better going into my senior year. But through a lot of hard work and grind, I was doing extra outside of everyone else was doing. There was a lot of talented players. There was a lot of talented people in my field. But the only way for me to actually go past them was to outwork them. I didn't have more skill than them. It was all effort, straight up work every single day to get better than these people. And that's what I had to do. Eventually, I got recruited to play college football. And one of the schools that was recruiting me was the United States Naval Academy. I looked at it. as a really good opportunity to go to a great school, get a great education, be able to play football for a team that was winning a lot of games in Division 1A football, the highest level of college football. That was a great opportunity for me. And at the end of it, be able to pretty much graduate and have a career started for me as an officer in the United States Navy. Great opportunity, especially for someone coming right out of high school who didn't know exactly where they wanted to go, what they wanted to do. But I was like, hey, this is perfect for me. So I went to the Naval Academy, played football there all 4 years. For all the Army and Air Force people out there, I'm sorry, but we beat y'all all 4 years. 2006 to 2010, graduated in 2010, became a surface warfare officer. As a surface warfare officer, I was on 2 different ships, went on 2 different deployments over my first 4 years in the Navy on my first 2 sea tours. After that, transitioned into shore duty in 2015, and all of a sudden decided to go on this crazy journey. But to backtrack just a little bit, while in my first 4 years in the Navy, I started developing this passion for cars and this passion for racing. And I used to take my personal cars to local tracks near me in Southern California. I would go to drag race days, I would go to road course days, I would do all these track days and have fun doing it and have fun going fast around the tracks. After a few years of this, I finally made a decision. I like cars, I like racing. Why not make this a big part of my life? Why not become a professional race car driver? So I pulled my whiteboard off of my wall. When I pulled that whiteboard off the wall, I looked at it, I had some goals written on it. I erased whatever I had on it, and I wrote one big goal: become a professional race car driver. This was January 2014. I had this vision. I saw myself becoming a pro driver. I just saw it. I had never raced before in my life. I hadn't even really been to like a NASCAR race or anything like that. I've never done any of that. I just been to track days, but for some reason I saw myself becoming a pro driver. I saw this becoming my life, and I was like, I have to go after this. I'm not having these visions for no reason. I put it down on paper. That was the first step right there, putting that vision to paper. I did it, and then from there it was a grind for over the last 6 years now to work my way from that point, sitting in my room, writing it on my whiteboard, to now racing in the second highest level of NASCAR, the NASCAR Xfinity Series. It's been a grind to get here, but I didn't get here alone. I didn't do it all by myself. I had a lot of help, and through a lot of faith, thank God, because I'm a faithful person, we've been able to make this thing happen. But what's helped a lot was really the business side of things. So for me, jumping into racing, I knew that racing is not cheap at all. I was going to need to find sponsors, partnerships, all this stuff. But when I first started racing, I didn't have any companies, any businesses, any organizations wanting to really at first put any money into me to even help me do this. Nobody wanted to invest in my dream. I had to put the skin in it first. I had to put all my own skin in the game to get this thing off the ground. In order to do that, at the time, I was still active duty in the Navy. I'm in the reserves now, but I was active duty at that time. We make decent money as a lieutenant at that time, but not enough money to race professionally. So I had to figure out, what's my other way of making money to actually make this happen? Maybe I can start my own business. So I decided to take the entrepreneurial route to make my other dream happen. And in starting this whole entrepreneurship journey, I eventually actually started liking it, and I made it another side journey of mine. Well, for my entrepreneurship journey, what I started doing was hosting racing events. Where I got this idea was actually backtracking a little bit more. On my last deployment, I was on a ship with a friend. He was a very business-minded friend who had all these ideas of how to start businesses and do this and that, because he's already started his own, he's already done his own. So me and him, after every watch, even if it was 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 6 a.m., it doesn't matter. After each watch, we would go find some room on the ship that was empty. We'd pull out a big board and we start writing different things, and he would just teach me, basically give me business lessons on, hey, this is how you start a business. This is how you get one going. This is what expenses are, how to profit, revenue, this and that, just all these different aspects of business. He started teaching me that. And from all these different lessons, after all these watches, I finally learned something, and I figured, hey, I can get my own business going. I can actually do this. And my idea is, let me put on my own unique style events, these drag racing events that I was putting on at different tracks. I would rent the tracks, invite people to come, and they would actually come to the races, watch, people would compete, and it actually made decent money. Enough money that I was able to take all the profit from each racing event and pour it back into my racing and actually get myself into a race car to get my racing journey going. In fact, in 2016 and 17, my business actually sponsored the majority of my racing seasons for those years because it was doing that well, and it's still doing well now. I've expanded since. I'm not only just doing drag racing events now, but now I have real estate investments going on. I have a trucking company going going on. We have semi trucks right now on the road as I speak, and as you're watching this, there's semi trucks right now on the road hauling Amazon goods. But this is all because I just used that business sense to get this thing going. But it wasn't going to happen if first I didn't have vision. So for all you entrepreneurs out there, you have to have vision. And I'm not talking about eyesight vision. I'm talking about mind vision. Your mind has to see yourself becoming whatever you're trying to become, producing the product you're trying to produce, starting the business that you're trying to start, and advancing that business to where it needs to be. You have to see the end. You have to see it. It has to be a natural feeling. It can't be just something you're sitting down there and you just make up one day. When I had this vision of becoming a professional race car driver, I wasn't sitting down and just made it up. It came to me. I saw it over and over and over. It just was never going away. You have to have that natural vision. Once you have that natural vision, from there, you got to take it to the next step. That next step is actually taking action. All of us sit here and dream all day long on, oh man, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to start this. I want to start that. But nobody takes action. You have to take action on a daily basis, not just Monday through Friday, not just Saturday and Sunday, not just when you have a few moments here and there. I'm talking about every single day. Take actionable steps. Do something every single day to try to take one step forward. Even if you end up taking a step back because something didn't work, at least you took a step somewhere. Keep on marching forward. After you start taking those actionable steps, you have to insanely believe that this will actually come through. This will actually come true. You have to, that's the faith part of it. When you're going on this journey as an entrepreneur, it will get dark. I've had my dark times. I've had plenty of times over the last 5 years, not 10 or 20, over the last just 5 years where I've completely ran out of money, where I was negative in the hole up to, at one point, $60,000. And I had really no way of figuring out to pay it off, but I figured it out. Even when there is no way, you find a way. There is always a way, as long as you're willing to continue to push forward. The only people who truly fail in life are the people who quit. As long as you keep pushing forward, as long as you keep coming every single day, eventually it's going to happen. There's an old saying, if you keep on coming to the barbershop every single day, eventually you're going to get your hair cut. In the darkest point of the night, the sun will still rise, and you have to push forward every day. No matter how dark that tunnel is, the tunnel's dark for a reason, because the people who don't have any faith, the people who don't insanely believe that that light is at the end of the tunnel, even though it's pitch black, the people who don't insanely believe in that will never make it, and that's fine. That's why the tunnel's dark. It's dark to weed out the weak. Thus, only the strong will get there. Life will reward those who stay strong enough, long enough. So now you're insanely believing. You're taking actionable steps every single day. Nothing is stopping you. You're pushing forward. You're in this unstoppable way. Understand that there will be pitfalls. You will trip sometimes. You might trip every day. You might trip once a year. You might trip once a month. Things are going to happen. Walls are going to get put in front of you. Do not let those walls, do not let those barriers, do not let those steps that are tripping you up, don't let those things be a deterrence. All those are just to help you become stronger, because success is heavy. Success is extremely heavy, and success does not want to land in the arms of someone weak. So along this journey, things will get hard. Diamonds are not created in just optimal conditions. Diamonds are created in pressure situations. Pressure gets put on something and it creates a diamond. You don't just have a nice, pretty, princessy thing that just all of a sudden blossoms into a diamond out of nowhere. No pressure, no heat, no nothing. No. Pressure creates the diamond. You gotta get cooked along the journey in order to get to where you want to go. In order to build a skyscraper of success, you have to dig super deep. The higher you want to go in life, the deeper you're gonna have to dig. If you want to get here, be ready to dig just as much, if not more, deeper down into the earth to build that strong foundation, because you're gonna need it. That wind is gonna come. Everything's gonna come to try to knock down your skyscraper. And sometimes you'll get knocked down on your feet, knocked off your feet, knocked on your back a few times. But as long as you keep falling forward, keep trying to push forward and doing everything you can, you will make it. I promise you. So insanely believe, understand that it will be dark. And in the darkest point of the night, the sun will still rise. Keep on pushing forward. And at the end of all this stuff, as you're pushing forward, you're grinding and it's seeming dark, it seems like nothing's working, you're moving forward. Understand throughout this whole time, as busy as you might be, you must still help people. There will be people along this journey who are going to reach out to you, because they're going to see you moving up and grinding and making things happen. You've gone through all the stuff. You've weeded out the bad people in your life. You're just moving along. People are going to reach out to you. People are going to want help. Help these people. When you help others achieve their dreams, you will achieve yours too. I promise you that. I've seen it so many times in my life. People reach out for advice or this and that, questions about this and that, starting their own business, getting into racing, getting into the Navy, getting into the military, doing whatever in life, and I help them wherever I can. You're not going to be able to save the entire world, but man, you can give a lot of advice to people and help people out in different ways. When you're going through your journey, write it down. Write down every step that it takes to go through your journey, because somebody else might be able to use this to help themselves out. You might be able to cut off a few years of the grind. Do it to help them. Do not be selfish. When you're selfish, you will never make it to wherever you want to go. I promise you. You might think you are. You might think you're achieving success, but I promise you're going to hit rock bottom and you will never get up if you are a selfish person. So be good and be a decent person. So after you've gone through this whole thing, you've had the vision, you're taking actionable steps. Every single day, you're grinding along, you're getting through the dark times, you're helping people, you're insanely believing in everything. When you get through all this thing, at the very end, you will achieve your success. I promise you, it is there for you. Life will reward you. Just keep grinding and never let anyone's opinion of you become your reality. Jesse Iwuji, Lieutenant Commander, United States Navy, and also NASCAR Xfinity Series driver. Thank you all so much for tuning in.
Approximately 10% of small business owners are veteran-owned businesses, and they are one of the more successful cohort of business owners. And you might ask why. Think of the skills they bring.
They want to lead people. The resilience they have for the ups and downs and the challenges.
I think you bring a team concept and a cohesiveness and a sense of let's get the job done together. Who doesn't want a teammate like that?
Leadership, being able to make a decision and stick with it.
You're doing new things all the time, especially when you're deployed. So I think that's why, veterans in particular really make excellent entrepreneurs.
Welcome to the 7th Veteran Shark Tank.
You can understand why a team is more effective and how to orchestrate that team in business, just like you have in the military. You can be very, very successful.
Comcast NBC Universal, we're not just military friendly, but we're military ready. We understand the value of this program and programs like these.
So your pitch is so important more today than ever. They are the face of their organization.
Thank you for your passion and energy. Let me ask you this, what made you go down this direction?
So we've all seen the side effects that you have to risk with prescription drugs. Honestly, there's nothing like MedReleaf, all natural, and it's already compliant with FDA regulations.
The best part of the Veteran Shark Tank is just the camaraderie. I get to be surrounded by my fellow veterans again.
We're competing together, not against each other. And that's something that you don't really see in these kinds of situations very often.
The best part of my Veteran Shark Tank experience is the opportunity to be able to showcase my product and for me to be able to tell my story.
And voila, you have everything you need to change your baby right at your fingertips.
And it doesn't hurt that I could win $50,000.
People ask, what's my favorite thing about the Shark Tank? It's the highlight of innovation, to see the solutions they've come up with for very common problems.
These are veterans you can get behind. These are real business opportunities.
All right, the winner of this year's $50,000 prize.
On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3.
Each of our sharks are hand-selected from the business community for their business acumen, entrepreneurship, and dedication to helping veterans. Our judges for the 8th Veteran Shark Tank are Patrick Murphy, Philadelphia native, Army veteran, former Undersecretary of the Army. Today, as a veteran entrepreneur, Patrick continues to advocate and empower veterans through his work in public and private sectors. Laura Plunkett, Senior Director of Startup Partnerships for Comcast NBC Universal. Lift Labs was created with the input from more than 1,500 entrepreneurs from around the world. Lift Labs helps startups understand their business, test and pilot things with Comcast, and become better storytellers. Charlanda Scales, Air Force veteran and servant leader for Mutt Sauce LLC. Her grandfather, Charlie Mutt Farrell Jr., created an all-purpose specialty sauce in 1956. In 2013, she inherited the coveted recipe and is now humbled by his trust and belief in her. Jerry Flanagan, Jerry J-Dog Flanagan, is an Army veteran, CEO, and founder of J-Dog Brands. Founded in 2011, J-Dog is the military brand dedicated to providing business ownership opportunities to veterans and veteran family members via franchising. Mark Rockefeller, Air Force veteran and CEO, co-founder for StreetShares. Mark Rockefeller is the co-founder and CEO of StreetShares, one of America's fastest-growing financial technology platforms. StreetShares platform is an award-winning lending-as-a-service technology that powers banks, credit unions, non-financial organizations to make more small business loans. To learn more about our judges, please go to www.veteransharktank.com. Sharks, are you ready? Let's get this show started. The rules of the event are as follows. All contestants are sequestered in an adjacent room preparing their pitches. They are not allowed to listen to other contestants pitch, nor hear the judges' questions. The contestants were randomly assigned their presentation order. Each contestant gets 8 minutes to present their idea to the judges. The judges will have 8 minutes to ask amplifying questions. At the conclusion of the sixth contestant's presentation, the judges will retire to a virtual ante room to deliberate and determine the winner. The judges will have 5 minutes to determine the winner, and while the judges deliberate, we will highlight some of our distinguished alumni. During the show, feel free to chat and discuss your favorite contestant on social media and in the chat function. Now, it's time to bring our first contestant to the show. Our first contestant is Kaylin Green, Brat Tats founder. As a reminder, Kaylin, you have 8 minutes to share your story with the judges. Your time starts now.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kaylin Green. I'm an Air Force veteran. My husband is still in the military, serving in the Air National Guard. So I am proud to represent both military spouses and female entrepreneurs in the veteran community. As you can see, I have a sleeve tattoo. I got this sleeve with elements that remind me of my mom after she passed away. I so badly wanted to keep her name alive and tell everybody about what an incredible person she was. So when people comment on my tattoo, I get to talk about how amazing she was, and I point to my daughter's name on my arm and talk about how she lives through my daughter. So you can see my spunky little Serenity here with her high heels and her makeup. She wanted to be just like me. So you can imagine she was so mad that she could not get a tattoo like me. It is so unfair that there's an age restriction for tattoos. So because my military brat wanted a tat, I had to start a new business. Brat Tats, temporary tattoo sleeves for kids. So Brat Tats are just like the old school temporary tattoos that you remember as a kid, only these are bigger and better. Kids are loving these. They love looking just like mom and dad. They love feeling powerful and confident, and they love adding fun accessories to their bold, unique style. Parents are loving Brat Tats just as much. So here's a few problems that Brat Tats are solving for parents. Like I said, kids want to look like parents. Parents want their kids to look like them. How adorable is it to have a little tiny mini version of yourself walking around? The second problem that Brat Tats is solving is that kids have everything they want. I think I've said this a million times. Don't get my kids anything. They have everything they could possibly want. So with over 50 designs on the website, this is a really unique gift that not a lot of people know about, and it's a consumable product, so you can always go back for more. The third thing that it's solving is that parents are tired of all the stuff and all the junk in the house. Brat Tats is the thickness of a paper. The large ones can be rolled up until they're ready to be used, and then once they're applied to the skin, they're completely out of the house. And then now, more than ever, parents are at home and they are craving an experience, something fun and memorable to do with the kids while they're home. Brat Tats offers an amazing, fun experience for the entire family. Mom can get a neck tattoo, dad can get knuckles. It makes for a lot of joy and laughter, and it makes for a great photo and video to share as well. So let's take a look at Brat Tats, the business. So e-commerce, we're doing really well online with the sales this year. Wholesale, so wholesaling to retail shops and tattoo shops. So the idea is that mom and dad go get a tattoo and then they bring home Brat Tats for the little ones. And then events. We were killing it last year with the events. Looking forward to carrying on with the momentum with the events in the future with fairs, festivals, racing events, and rallies. And then marketing, something that nobody is doing right now is using Brat Tats or these large tattoos as a creative marketing option. So the idea is that Comcast would send us their logo and elements that align with their business, and then we would design a custom tattoo for them to share with their customers. So here's a quick look at the financials. These are really conservative numbers, but as you can see, the cost of goods is $1.50, so making for really great profit margins. Keep in mind, Brat Tats is only 2 years old in October, we turn 2. So the very first year of business, 2018 to 2019, doing $16,000 in sales online, and then an additional $12,000 in sales at those events. So this year, killing it with the online sales, $37,000 in net sales online, more than double the year previous. So who wants their kids to be looking like this? Is there a demand for this? This is pretty insane, right? So 38% of adults over 30 are tattooed. And the tattoo industry is the 6th fastest growing retail industry. So that means that tattoos are not going anywhere anytime soon. And then 22% of the population, 74 million children in the United States. So I think you can understand the potential. If one person comes to mind when you see this, you understand the excitement and the potential that the market has. So I know what you're thinking. Obviously, I did not invent the temporary tattoo, but much like Grunt Style did not invent apparel, I have a special, unique brand that consumers identify with and they are loyal to. So you can see by this chart that Brat Tats is filling a gap in the market, offering large tattoos to kids, and then offering unique designs, applying them at events, and using them for business, creative business marketing. So you've seen what I've done with very little advertising. So $50,000 is going to completely change the life of the business. For $10,000 is going to go into using video production to show how easy the tattoos are to apply, how excited the kids get when they have these tattoos, and how realistic they look. $10,000 is going to go into advertising. Nobody knows this exists yet. So getting the brand in front of people who really will enjoy these tattoos. And then while I'm extremely proud of the success that I've had by myself, adding an employee or two would double or triple the efforts, propelling the business in the direction that it needs to go in. So $50,000 with my hard work and resiliency, I'm going to sell enough inventory to then create enough revenue and then invest in those huge trademark licenses that kids really want. So those Disney character, Marvel characters, and Monster Jam characters or trucks. And while the money is extremely important and it would be amazing, to me, winning this competition is so much more than the money. I think we can all agree that right now, with everything going on in the world, there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of stress, and the world just needs more fun and more joy, and Brat Tats offers that. So the world needs more Brat Tats. And I know that my time is ticking, but I just want to say thank you to the sponsors and to the judges and to everybody who made this event possible. We really appreciate what you're doing for veterans, and it's amazing that you were able to put this together and make it a possibility virtually. Thank you. I'm ending a little early, so feel free to ask me any kind of questions about your temporary commitments.
All right, Kaylin, thank you very much. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Judges, you have 8 minutes, and Patrick Murphy, you have the lead question. Timer for the judges starts now.
All right, Kaylin, congrats for what you're doing, and thanks so much for your service and your passion on this. We're all very, as veterans, we're all very passionate. So I would say to you, you mentioned that you want to hire employees. How many employees have one or two? Are you going to 1099 them, or are you going to bring them on full time? What's the game plan?
Well, that's an excellent question. By the time I come up with a plan, the economy might shift and I might have to change that plan. But the idea is to have a full-time employee. I really want a team members that I can rely on and that are working alongside of me. Like Jesse said, the entrepreneurial world is lonely. I want someone by my side 100%, like skin in the game.
And he also said bias for action and waking up every day. But what would you use the employee for? Are you talking marketing? Are you talking about revenue? Are you talking about operations?
Yeah,
what
so
do you
I
need
know
the person for?
I know my strengths and my weaknesses, and sales is not my strength. Technology is not my strength. So ideally, I would have someone helping with social media and the web stuff, the packaging of all the orders. That's pretty easy. But I do have a company that would like to outsource the packaging of the actual orders. But so having someone as a sales representative, I guess, for the business. So making sure that we're getting into subscription boxes and getting into those wholesale, those retail stores, the tattoo shops. Someone just go and be a sales representative for Brat Tats.
Great, thank you.
Hey, Kaylin. It's Laura. I just want to say congratulations on a great presentation. I absolutely loved your origin story about your mom and how personal it is. So it's really lovely to hear. I lost my mom this year, and she was also a military spouse. So I feel for you very deeply. So this is such a personal thing for you. And I just want to hear a little bit more about how you came up with the 50 designs, how you expand that design portfolio, and really kind of what your product pipeline looks like going forward.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate, I'm sorry about your mom, but I can relate to you. So the tattoo designs, I call myself an accidental entrepreneur because I don't like risk and entrepreneurship is 100% about risk. So I started with stock designs, so tattoos that were already produced, just testing the marketing, seeing if this is even a possibility, if people even want this, and then having brand rep like model calls. So then the brand reps are then promoting the tattoos. So all these cute kids are influencers who have a following, and then that's where all the orders come from. That's all the marketing. And then just kind of feeling out the audience and what they want. We kind of led into racing. Racing is a big theme that a lot of kids like. And mermaids, of course. I have to dance around all the copyright problems. So, but really, people really want those Marvel, Disney designs.
Hi, this is Trilinda Skills. This is a very, very great business. I have a little boy, so I was looking at that thinking, wow, my little boy would be a cool kid with some of these tats. I was looking at your portfolio. You said you have e-commerce, wholesale, and events pre-COVID. What was the wholesale? What were you doing wholesale? And do you want to do more of that, or you want to go more?
Yeah, so at first the idea was just online and events. With everything changing, the events literally took half of the revenue that we were planning on making for this year. So yeah, now we're just shifting more emphasis on those wholesale, the retail stores, so local boutiques. A lot of places, a lot of questions that we get is, I don't have time for the shipping. Do you offer this somewhere locally? Can I go pick it up locally somewhere? And unfortunately, I don't have a ton of people wholesaling Brat Tats. So the idea is to have it at more locations throughout the entire United States so that someone could pop in, grab tattoos. And then even at the tattoo shops, I think there's a huge opportunity to be applying the tattoos at the tattoo shops and creating an entire experience around that as well. So like birthday parties are changing, everything's changing. So maybe you take your little one into a tattoo shop to get tatted up at a real tattoo shop. So That's kind of the idea with the wholesaling. And we have a few shops that are kind of doing a beta test, but I don't have any big, beautiful like displays for them. So that's number one on my list of things to do.
Thank you.
I thought the presentation was great. I have two questions. Do you own the trademark name?
Yes.
Okay. And have you tried to sell on Amazon or Shopify yet?
I do have a backup website on Shopify. The people running this competition can tell you technology is not always my best friend. So I have a backup website on Shopify called Brat Tat without the S. So that's not a copycat. That's my website. It's the backup one. But as far as Amazon, I thought about it. I toy around with the idea. Ultimately, their business model doesn't align with my ethics, so I decided not to pursue that route.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Kaylin, Mark Rockefeller. I love the idea, and I love the fact that it started with the need that you saw in your own family with your own kids. It's a great idea. It's a great brand. I think you really got something here. But you alluded in your presentation to it being a bit competitive, right? This is the kind of thing that is easy to copy for somebody else, but they can't copy your brand, right? And Brat Tats is a great, great name. What will you do to sort of fend off the competitors that are going to come and protect this great brand that you're building?
That's an excellent question. Yeah, what's stopping anybody from starting a tattoo business? Nothing, absolutely nothing. Just hard work, resiliency, funding, customer service. I can go on and on. I've had plenty of copycats. A lot of people see this online and they're like, oh, that's amazing. That they see the potential. I've had to deal with a lot of copycats. People who are working closely with me decided to start their own business. So I know that I have something special and I am amazing and my company is amazing, and that copycats aren't really a threat anymore because they've all fallen off.
Okay. 30 seconds left. Why should we pick you?
Because I deserve this. I am worth it. I am representing moms everywhere who maybe possibly got lost in motherhood, and they want to see that moms can do impossible things, and they can start their business, and they can do just about anything they want as a mother, as a veteran. So I'm hoping to inspire other people.
I love it. Great.
All right, Kaylin. This is Joe Crandall. This is the voice in the sky. You're done. Judges, great job. And we wanted to do something new this year. We have a new sponsor. We're excited to share our new partnership with Grow with Google with a short video.
You served your country. Then you transitioned back to civilian life and began serving your communities. And for 2.5 million of you, that meant starting a small business. Your businesses are hiring fellow veterans and military spouses. They're supporting charities and giving your communities a sense of community. Sure, it hasn't always been easy, but you're doing what you've always done, putting in the hard work and learning as you go. So to help, Google has created one place where your veteran-owned small business can get a step-by-step guide to reaching customers worldwide. Add a veteran-led badge to your Google listing, and let the world know that you, all 2.5 million of you, are open for business. Visit us online to get started.
Our second contestant is John Norton from RopeSafe. John is the CEO and founder. As a reminder, John, you have 8 minutes to share your story with the judges. Your time starts now.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for the opportunity. As recent as less than 2 years ago, a window washer in Chicago, while 600 feet above the deck, lost his primary line, his primary safety line, because he was using cut carpet and duct tape for his edge protection. Fortunately, the Chicago Fire Department, who is now a customer of RopeSafe, rescued him in 18 minutes. Good evening, everybody. My name is Jonathan Norton, and I am the founder and CEO of RopeSafe USA. And this happens more often than we think. Primary ropes that are protecting the men and women whom are serving our country and our community, keeping our families safe, and building and maintaining our global infrastructure are using inferior products. For example, a major metropolitan police department is using canvas pad and duct tape. A major Navy SEAL team unit using a very similar product. A random bag of junk. And last but not least, of course, duct tape. There's more than just one use for duct tape. And this is why I invented this solution, which is called RopeSafe. So RopeSafe is a dual-use and load-bearing rope protector and anchor strap that protects a life safety rope from abrasion or failure on sharp surfaces. It has a load-bearing handle for easy attachment, high cut resistant exterior ballistic fabric made is the same material as body armor, load-bearing attachment points, and a quick installation system to greatly reduce the system installation time for a rescuer to not only install and protect his edge, but to comply with the National Fire Protection Association standards for life safety rope and equipment and OSHA standards. RopeSafe has been tested and sold extensively from the military, the first responder community, and the commercial rope access professional industry. Here's a window. Here's a high-angle construction professional in Chicago using RopeSafe on an edge that would easily and quickly sever right through his rope. Here is a United States Army pararescue operator hanging over 200 feet on a 6mm rope, using nothing but RopeSafe to protect that rope from shearing on the edge. And our customers, the Dallas and Fort Worth SWAT team, use the product for every one of their officers. And we have had significant traction in the market, from the United States Air Force pararescue operators to United States Army Special Operations Command, and over 100 customers across the globe, including 10 countries, and as recent as Australia, who just became a customer last week. Let me break down the unit economics. Unfortunately, I'll have to redact some of this information, but we have a significant cost of goods margin in order to bring on a robust dealer and distributor network while maintaining United States manufacturing. You can see our average retail price for a distributor is $97.97. And the average retail price for direct to municipalities and government is $139.95, giving us plenty of room to bring and scale our business through a distributor model. So not only do we have a small direct sales team, but we also leverage an ecosystem of over 120 sales reps across North America and penetrating into the European Union and Australia. And let's talk a little bit about the commercial or the global rope protection market. Hands down, the largest market is the commercial construction industry. You can see the United States is in the blue and the global industry is indicated in green. The commercial construction industry could go through a rope protector in less than a day. And you can see with an almost $150 million market, making this what seems to be a niche product much larger than expected. And we've had penetration in every single market thus far. Let's talk a little bit about our revenue. So you can see on the left side, we have my priors. In 2020, our year-to-date actuals are over $450,000. This includes a projection to year-end as well. We have approximately $100,000 in non-dilutive capital grants that we've won and immediately reinvested into the business. Furthermore, we've just peaked over $100,000 of sales and continuing to grow on a daily basis. And just recently, we were awarded an Air Force Small Business Innovation Research Phase 2 contract to partner with Battle Sight Technologies to make a variation of rope safe that is visible in the infrared spectrum. So United States Air Force pararescue operators who are out saving lives on the battlefield can see the dangers in the dark with the photoluminescent version of the product. Furthermore, by the end of the year, we'll be launching our certified version with global certifications from Underwriter Laboratories and EN 566 and 795 safety certifications. The only product, the only load-bearing rope protector and anchor strap on the market to have these coveted safety certifications, and the NFPA to follow. We've partnered with Ronin Rescue in Canada to launch a signature series in Q1, which has been greatly received, and we have pre-orders that have already been placed for this high visibility version that is very specific to the rescue community in the oil and gas industry that demands a higher visibility solution. And furthermore, Justin Melnick from ABC's Navy SEAL teams will launch a signature series of the multi-cam version in Q1 of 2021, tailored to our military and tactical customers who will have a solution that is and blends in with their operational environment. But what does this really, how will $50,000 move the needle for my company? It's twofold. We're gonna move the investment into purchasing a laser cutter, which will have a patented method for we can laser cut and automate the manufacturing of rope safe and reduce the time and increase our cost of goods, reduce the cost of goods sold, allowing us to maintain manufacturing in the United States. And we're gonna hire a lights out, a sales account manager to set up meetings for my direct sales team to close business, resulting in a 10x growth over the next 4 months. This is the team to do it. My board of advisors, consisting of senior military officers, executives, and investors, and my direct and distributor sales team leaders, an engineer and a team of contractors. And hey, my mission is to protect the men and women who are serving our country.
John, time's up. Thank you very much. Thank you. Judges, you have 8 minutes to ask questions. Laura, you have the first question. Your time
Great.
starts now.
Thank you so much, John. Thanks a lot, and congratulations on your recent sales milestone, as well as your international customers. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
I also really appreciate your commitment to maintaining manufacturing in the United States, so thank you for that.
It's a tough one, Laura, but we're working on it.
Good. When you think about customer acquisition, you have a direct sales team, and then you have a network of distributors. Can you talk about your plans for accessing that international market more deeply and who you're relying on? And do you need these individuals, the sales teams and your distributors, to become sort of well-versed and trained in your product in order to be advocates in the market for them?
It is an in-depth question, and I will answer it. And the answer is through partnerships, very similar to Comcast, how you partner with Veteran Shark Tank and how this competition is possible. And we are also launching a Tower Climber series of our products specifically for the Comcast type of operational environment. But you're right, it is a niche product in the sense of we are creating a new market. So we need to launch educational-based marketing content to educate the user on the problem that they know they have, but they don't know there's a solution for it. So it does require some upfront cost and investment on our end. But when we collaborate and we promote other people's brands that share our values, like CMC, The Clutch, Harkin Industrial, we have companies in Italy and Greece that we believe in their products, and they promote us on social media, but they also bring customers to us. The cost of customer acquisition has gone down as a result of COVID because very rarely are we traveling. We're more doing direct sales and interactions over Zoom. And we're scaling it through having localized meetings with fire departments and videoing that and distributing it to our prospective customer base. So we've been able to drastically lower the cost of goods sold and reinvest those dollars into producing more products into our pipeline and marketing. And what did that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, John, this is Patrick Murphy. If I can ask the next one first, I love the fact that you just tried to sell Comcast. ABC always be closing, and coffee is for closers. So go Army. Your Army vet during this Navy week. Question you mentioned in your presentation, there's a $97 cost to make it, resell at $139, so it's about a 30% margin rate. I know you said you would use 50 grand to get a laser cutter. How much will that bottom line drop your cost of the goods?
Well, I'll send the redacted version over to the judges if you'd like, but that's our dealer direct. That's our dealer price. The $97.97 on average is what my dealers purchase the product for, and the $139 is what my retail price is. So our cost of goods, by investing in the laser cutter, we're going to reduce that by almost 25%, Pat. So now when we ship overseas, we don't have to seek, we don't have to seek overseas manufacturing. So we can keep the manufacturing in the United States. We can invest in U.S. manufacturing. Large part of what I won my SBIR on was the commitment to innovate with U.S. manufacturing. So that's why we're purchasing this laser cutter and hiring a sales account manager, because we realize we have two crack sales teammates that need somebody to set up meetings for them. They're doing the job as well, but they need somebody who's ahead of them, scheduling meetings and product demonstrations so they can do what they do best, and that's close deals while I promote the product. And does that answer your question, Pat?
Yeah, what's the bottom line on the cost of goods though? How much does it cost right now?
I'm going to have to defer that question, Pat, for reasons of I know competitors are watching. I apologize, but I know that we will be in the teams. I'm sorry?
Are you serious? You can't tell us the cost of goods? I mean, it has nothing to do with competition.
That's fair. It's right now it's a 72% gross margin ratio, Jerry, and we're going to bring that into the low 80s as a result of this investment in the laser cutter, and so that will reap a return on investment purely through sales alone in 2.5 years. So we know that's a sound investment to make up front. Yeah.
And do you have patents on this? On the use and the making of it for both?
Yeah, we're in the patent process for both of them. We have 3 patents for this particular product, for the rope safe and some similar products. And we have pending patents for our methods and our means for manufacturing and for testing.
Hey, John, it's Mark Rockefeller.
Hey, Mark.
Charlene, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, my question, I'm not going to grill you because I have so many questions, but I do want to say congratulations to you. This is really great. My question is about, one, the lifespan of a rope. Do you know that offhand? Just like how long does it take for it to know?
It could be as fast as a day, an hour, a moment in time, to as long as 5 years, Charlotte. But the construction industry, the largest market, very, very high rope use and turnover.
And ultimately, because you said patent, which I caught that too, that you want to patent the manufacturing process. Is your ultimate goal to become a manufacturer of this type of product, of all
That's
suite
correct.
of? Okay.
Leveraging without the major overhead of carrying a full manufacturing plant. So we have a U.S. manufacturer. We own the specific laser asset, and they will do they'll do the setup and the programming, and we all save money.
Okay, but would you eventually acquire other brands and bring them under your umbrella, or you just want to make all just your own stuff?
The latter, both, Charlinda. Good question.
Hey, John, it's Mark. I've been tracking you for a couple of years. I know you've been at this, and very impressive numbers that you've shown up with. So I've got a friend who did who made safety devices, and they got some legislation that made those devices mandatory, and things went through the roof. Is that an opportunity for you? Is this the kind of thing that can be mandated? Because if so, brother, I mean, you've got a rocket ship here.
OSHA has a gap in the safety standards that we have identified, and it's the only area in OSHA where there's a gap, and it's global. So we have a patented method on our way of test, and that is going to be, we can license that to anybody who wants to use and become OSHA compliant. It's a long road, but we have the right agencies to make it happen.
All right. That's all the time you guys have. Judges, thank you very much. The Veteran Shark Tank is organized and presented by a group of dedicated veterans. Our team includes Sean Danowski and Justin Nadil, who lead the contestant experience. Sarah Armstrong and Ed Curry help prepare the judges for this event. Alex Archowski and John Kleck were our sponsorship committee. And this year, we had Andrew Bowen helping keep the team organized with his excellent project management skills. Thank you to Advanced Staging for their leadership and guidance on putting on this live virtual show. It's our first one as a Veteran Shark Tank. Thank you for all your support. And our third contestant is Teresa Black, CEO and founder of Bona App Suite. Teresa, you have 8 minutes to share your story with the judges. Your time starts now.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Teresa Black. I am the CEO and founder of Amore Congelato, soon to be Bon Appetit. At Bon Appetit, we believe that everyone deserves to experience the complex taste and flavors of their desserts, instead of being underwhelmed by the simple taste of sugar. When I was 16, my little cousin was born. By 2 years old, she was overweight. By 12, she had developed childhood diabetes, and by 18, she was having her first gastric bypass surgery. So when I had my daughter, I was determined that she would not follow down the same path. As a result, I was very strict with her diet. I didn't give her cane sugar until her first birthday, and even then, she only got it once. So you can imagine my disappointment when I deployed for a year and learned that my daughter was being given ice cream regularly. So after crying every single day for a year because I missed my daughter so much, I decided to start my own business. And what better business to have than Better For You ice cream? And so my company was born. I took out the cane sugar and created a gelato that has only fruit-based sweeteners. So believe me when I say I know from personal experience that America has an ice cream dilemma. 75% of Americans are trying to limit or avoid cane sugar, while 50 million Americans are lactose intolerant, and another 9 million Americans are on a plant-based diet. There's one thing for sure, we all scream for ice cream, but the plant-based options just aren't there for us. Oat milk is the fastest growing plant-based milk alternative, and yet the plant-based options for ice cream are almost non-existent. Enter Bon Appetit. Next slide. Bon Appetit is the only oat milk gelato, and we're also the only gelato that's made using 0 cane sugar. Instead of using cane sugar, we use a combination of agave nectar, coconut sugar, and date syrup. Next slide. The plant-based category has grown exponentially over the last 3 years, with 24% growth in just the first 6 months of 2020 alone. It has a market of $687 million. And when it comes to oat milk has grown by 686% in just the first 8 months of 2020 by itself. With a $3.7 billion market globally and a $213 million market in the US, oat milk is untapped. There are only 4 oat milk gelato ice cream suppliers in the US. Next slide, please. And when it comes to oat milk ice cream, Bon Appetit takes it. We have the best texture out of all 4 of our competitors. And this is because we use less air in our ice creams. which makes our product more dense and creamy than our competitors. In addition to this, all 4 of our competitors use cane sugar. We are the only one that does not. And instead of using something like a sugar alcohol, we used our fruit-based sweeteners. And on top of this, all 4 of our competitors are legally required to call themselves frozen dessert and cannot classify themselves as ice cream, while Bon Appetit is permitted to call themselves gelato, making us the premium option out of all of these. Next slide, please. Our revenue stream is currently coming primarily out of our store, which is located in a suburb of DC. But as we transition into the grocery stores, we anticipate that our streams will transfer over to being primarily dependent on grocery, with only 18% coming out of our shop. In 2020, we have had exponential growth. Even through COVID, we've had 78% growth in profit. We've been accepted into 2 grocery stores. We've been picked up by a national distributor called KeHE, and we've been requested by another national distributor to join their next program, which is a program that helps mentor the up-and-coming companies. We've also had samples requested by Whole Foods, and 4 Whole Foods have accepted our products into their stores. In addition to this, we've been featured on NBC News, Fox News, ABC News, and we'll also have a feature on the Good Morning America website starting next month. And we're also up for selection for a Good Morning America episode because of our appearance on a podcast this summer. In the future, we look to grow into at least 3 grocery stores by 2021. And then by 2023, we look to be in at least 6 chains in 4 different regions. And by 2024, we anticipate that we will be in 8 chains nationwide. Next slide. We currently make a 14-ounce pint container of gelato. We have a 53, once we go into wholesale, we'll have a 53% profit margin. And in our current store, we sell our gelato for $14 and we'll sell it wholesale. We'll sell it in grocery stores for $7.99. Next slide, please. Our team is made up of a team of 1, and that is yours truly, the CEO and founder. I am also a licensed attorney and a naval officer, as well as a mom. So as we all know, being in the military teaches us to work long hours, high stress environments without a hiccup. And I've grown this company in 1 year what it takes most other companies to grow their companies in 5, all by myself. In addition to my official team of 1, I also have excellent mentors, including the former CEO of 3 Twins Ice Cream, the current CEO of True Made Foods, and the CEO of Yobi Inc. In addition to these individuals, I also have advising organizations, which include Shabani, Stacy's Pita Chips, Hello Alice, Mass Challenge, and PenFed, all of whom have mentors for me at any time that I need them. Next slide. I will use the prize money in order to expand and grow and revolutionize the ice cream market using my instant gelato. So when you think instant gelato, think of the instant ice pack, the one that you crack and then it gets cold right in your hands. That is what my instant gelato does. You crack it and you can enjoy ice cream anywhere, anytime. So whether you're at the beach, on a camping trip, or on deployment, you can enjoy ice cream, you can enjoy gelato no matter what. You just crack it and shake it and enjoy your fresh gelato. Cane sugar free, of course. Next slide. And just remember, in the land of frozen dessert, gelato is queen. I can take questions now.
Very much. Judges, reminder, you have 8 minutes to ask your questions. Charlinda, you have the lead off. Your time starts now.
Thank you, Teresa, for that presentation. Thank you for what you do and for your service. I, too, am in the food and beverage industry. Of course, Mutt Sauce is a food product. So my question, when you talk about expansion, I want to hear a little bit more about the how, because as we know, you can put in the work and get on the shelf, but the real challenge is when you're in that store, how do you stay on the shelf? You mentioned that you're in 2 groceries. Is it 2 grocery stores or 2 grocery chains?
So we've been accepted into 2 grocery stores. We're only currently selling. Sorry, go ahead. So the way that we're going to set up on the shelf is with we're primarily going to go through influencers, because right now, obviously with COVID, we can't hand out samples, which is the best way for a new product, especially a premium product, to move on the shelves. So we're going to go with influencers who have control over their followers, and we're going to let them taste our product. And the reality is that while everyone says they have the best tasting, right? We know that we do. So we have no doubt that when our influencers try that and promote it to their followers, that we will be able to succeed and fly off of shelves. In addition to that, we're also going. Sorry, go ahead. Did you have a question?
So is the 50K, when you discuss expansion, how are you making it right now? Is it expanding because you're having it manufactured, or are you still manufacturing in-house? What's your scaling plan with the 50K?
So right now we're scaling in where we're working in-house, but once we launch big time in Whole Foods, we're going to be using a co-packer up in New York. And the 50K is actually, so we are actually raising money also from investors. So the 50K is primarily going to be focused on our instant gelato. And that product, I mean, obviously it's revolutionized, it's going to revolutionize the ice cream market. So that will pretty much sell itself. The fact that people will be able to eliminate that problem of the frozen food chain, which is the biggest problem with ice cream. And people can have something that does not need to be temperature controlled, and they can enjoy their ice cream anywhere, anytime. That is, I mean, it sells itself.
How much have you sold? Like, what are your sales year to date?
So I've only been open for 1 year so far. This year we have about $150,000 in sales. That's primarily because we're only just accepted into grocery stores, and all of our sales are coming from our brick and mortar store. So while many other ice cream shops have seen a huge decline coming into this into COVID, we've actually seen a 78% increase in sales.
And how are you currently marketing right now? Are you heavy in social media?
We are heavy in social media, so we're on Instagram and Facebook and a little bit on Twitter. But most of our sales are coming from word of mouth, as well as influencers right now that are voluntarily promoting our product without even being given free samples, because they're tasting our product and loving it so much. But a big part of our company is that we fight for social justice. So on the back of each of our pints, we have a Stay Woke fact, and it's a fact about social justice. And so when people saw these things on our pints, because I mean, before that, most of the time at our store, before COVID, most people were buying cups and scoops of our gelato. But once COVID hit, they're all buying pints. And they see that these Stay Woke facts on our pints, and they are loving the fact that we support social justice and we're fighting for something, even before it became a trend to do.
Thanks.
How much, Teresa, first, thanks for your service. And this, how much does a pint cost you to make?
Pint costs us about $2.02, give or take, depending on the flavor.
And how much do you resell for?
We sell it right now for $14, but at wholesale, we'll be selling it for $4.23 directly to the distributors, and then we'll be selling it for $7.99 on shelves, which is very equal to our competitors who are selling their products for $6.99, and some of them are up in the $7.99, $8 mark. So.
Hey, Teresa, it's Mark Rockefeller. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. I think I can speak on behalf of all the judges saying I have never wished more that we were live, because I can only assume that you would come with samples, right?
Yes,
and
sir.
so this is painful to do it this way when this image of your gelato looks so good. Question for you. So we're at a point in time right now where we're sort of on the business sense moving forward, and we don't know when this COVID stuff is going to end, right? Talk me through your business plan and how COVID kind of impacts it, right? If it ends in February because of a vaccine, what do you do? If it keeps going for another year, what do you do? Kind of like walk me through that thinking.
So if it does end in February because of the vaccine, obviously we're launching our new name in April of 2021. And with that, that's when we're going to be launching hard into grocery. So if COVID ends in 2021, that will be hardcore. We're going samples. We're going to have people in stores handing them out, making sure everybody gets to taste it. Obviously, when people think of healthy ice cream, they kind of hesitate, right? But if they taste it, they'll realize that it tastes better. So we've had taste tests against Ben & Jerry's, against Talenti. We've beaten them. And so if people get to taste it themselves, they can see for themselves with these samples that they're going to pay this extra money for this product. If we can't go with that side of things, then we're going to rely heavily on our influencers, make sure that they get to taste it, that they'll come out and make videos for it. And we're also going to go hardcore with Facebook campaigns. And we actually are also thinking about getting a truck and going around and driving around and handing out the samples, because in that case, you can hand out the covered ones that you are allowed to give out that you can't give out in grocery stores. So this is what our plan is in the event that COVID doesn't end. And if it does, we'll just continue on Smart Day.
Okay. Thank you. Great answer.
Teresa, this is delicious looking. I am really interested in your influencer marketing model, and I'm wondering about the change of name and if you're at all concerned about the impact that might have on your word of mouth success.
I believe so. We're trying really hard to make sure that, one, we're going to keep our website so that it directs people to the new website, so that if people are going to the old one, that they'll be able to find it. Also, on the new website, we're also going to have petitions that people can sign to support the different facts and initiatives that we have on our pints. And I think that when people hear about Amore Congelato's mission and they come on to find it, they'll be directed here. I don't think it'll be a huge transition, but this is also the reason why we're not launching huge in grocery until after we change our name, because we don't want to get our name out there really, really huge and then switch over. So if we do get featured on Good Morning America, we made sure that they have a little line in there that says, yes, we're Amore Congelato now, but we're transitioning to Bon Appetit Suite in 2021, just to make sure that we're keeping it all up to date and making sure people can help follow us over. But then most of our customers right now come to our shop, so they'll know. They'll talk to me. They love to meet me. We talk all the time. And so a lot of them also follow us on social media. So I don't think it'll be a too huge of a hurdle to get over.
Teresa, you've been out for 5 years since the Air Force, right? So
no, Navy.
I'm sorry. How was the biggest challenge being a veteranpreneur?
I actually am still in the Navy. I just got back from deployment, from my mobilization. I just got back in 2019. That's why I just launched my company in 2019. So the biggest transition, actually, so I'm also a lawyer. So the biggest transition has really just been
Time is up. Thank you very much, Teresa. Very good. Mark, you brought up a good point. This is not the year to go virtual. You guys would have had tattoos, rope protection devices, and ice cream so far. So, this year we did switch to a virtual event. Normally we do a 300-person in-person event where we sit down and have a live keynote. Although we had to switch to this from the in-person event, the essence of what we're trying to do remains intact. We had over 50 veterans apply over the summer. Our dedicated volunteers selected 21 companies to present at the semifinals about a month ago. Tonight, the 6 finalists are presenting their companies to win $50,000. We're halfway through tonight's program. Our fourth contestant is Marco Nelson. Marco is the CEO of RentCheck. As a reminder, you have 8 minutes, and your time starts now.
That's Lydia. She's a typical renter who just moved into her new rental home and is as happy as can be. But little did she know, she was about to start a very frustrating journey. A few days earlier, she moved out of this apartment that she rented for her first year of law school. After she moved out, 30 days came and went, and she never got back her $1,600 security deposit. She reached out to the property manager and never heard back, and then eventually heard made-up charges as to why they were keeping the deposit. She was frustrated. That was a lot of money to her, and she was fed up, and fortunately, she was in law school and decided she would represent herself and take that landlord to court and sue them. Now, it was a long and stressful process, but ultimately, after a year and a half, she won because she submitted timestamped photos of the apartment that she took when she moved out. Now, Lydia was in law school, so she had the time and resources to pursue this injustice. But unfortunately, most renters do not. Every year in the US, 6 million renters moving will have a dispute with their property manager or landlord over deductions from their security deposit. This equates to a $6 billion tug-of-war over deposits between the residents and the property managers. Good evening. My name is Marco Nelson, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of RentCheck. I've been managing properties across several states for over a decade, and when I met Lydia and heard her story during my MBA orientation a few years ago, I knew there was a better future. Lydia is now my co-founder, and we're on a mission with RentCheck to eliminate disputes over deposits and make renting fair and transparent. But in order to do that, we had to solve the root of the problem. And the root of the problem is the property inspections. Property inspections and having the proper documentation is core to this process, but an ongoing hassle for the property managers like myself. They are highly inaccurate because they are done on pen and paper. They are expensive and time consuming because property managers have to pay employees to coordinate, travel to the properties, document, and then compile and upload that data. But we've solved that problem by enabling the tenants to perform remote inspections. RentCheck allows tenants to capture an accurate picture of a property without the presence of the property manager. This saves the property managers time and money. It reduces the risk of litigation and provides peace of mind to renters, property managers, and the owners of the properties. So how did we do this? Our web and mobile applications allow the property manager to set up their property details, select the type of inspection, choose a due date, and then we handle the rest. We send out an invite reminders to the residents, and when they sign up for the RentCheck app, the inspection is preloaded and waited for them to perform it on their own time. Our app guides them through the property step by step, room by room, as if the property manager was walking with them, telling them exactly what to take photos of and asking them specific questions about features of the home. Once the resident completes the inspection, they can digitally sign off, and then we notify the property manager so they can review and agree to the documentation. This process is done again at move out, and RentCheck makes it easy to compare and see what may have changed during the lease. So how big is this opportunity? Well, there are 46 million rental units in the US, with the residential property management industry being a $100 billion market. And of those 46 million rental units, 39 million are single family homes or in buildings of 20 units or less. These are the properties that we're going after because they don't have an employee on staff to manage those units. And we drive up the efficiencies that RentCheck brings. And we've seen 85% of our growth across these types of units. Now, who manages those properties? Well, the management market is almost split down the middle, with half being small, independent property managers like myself, and then the other half being the larger and institutional property management companies. The great thing is that RentCheck has a solution for both halves of the market. And we've seen this with our current organic growth. Over the last year, we've gone from almost zero to over 130,000 properties under management across the property managers on our platform. And earlier this year, we started monetizing those by activating properties to paid tiers, and have seen paid properties continue to rise as property managers use and fall in love with our product. But we're just getting started. Inspections are our Trojan horse into the $100 billion property management market. Our relationship with the residents and the underlying data that we collect allow us to build out a deeper product offering. And we're doing inspections today, but early next year, we'll be streamlining maintenance documentation and coordination, and then we'll move into becoming the trusted third party to hold, compare, streamline, and distribute the security deposits. When we become the trusted third party to streamline security deposits, we'll continue to earn a service fee, but also earn a float on those security deposits. And when we reach 4 million rental units on the RentCheck platform with an average annual fee of $30 per property, we project annual revenue of $130 million by 2024. So what's the competitive landscape look like when it comes to solving this problem? Well, a complete streamlined process does not currently exist. We are creating a differentiated value that sets us apart. There are existing property documentation software like HappyCo or SnapInspect, but they were not built to include the residents in performing the inspections or streamlining the security deposit process. And then there are deposit replacement products like LeaseLock and Rhino, but they don't have the underlying data or the relationship with the resident to fully automate the process. Now, a vision is only as strong as the team that can make it happen. Our core team has the technical, leadership, and startup experience to execute on this vision. I've been a longtime property manager and a mobile developer, and have honed the leadership skills from the Naval Academy and my 7 years service as an officer to lead this team. I met my co-founder Lydia during the Tulane MBA orientation, where she was doing her JD MBA and in the process of suing her landlord over a security deposit. We were both passionate about this problem, and that's when RentCheck was born. She's a phenomenal operator with prior startup experience in the Bay Area. And then we have Lucy, our head of product, who has deep product experience. She joined us from a high-growth prop tech startup, Levelset, where she was director of product. And then we have Will, our head of engineering, who brings deep technical experience building scalable, integrated systems at Vanguard. So who wants to join and make renting fair and transparent for all properties involved? Thank you for your time and happy to answer any questions.
All right, Marco, thank you very much. That was great. Go Navy, beat Army. Jerry, you have the first question, and your time starts now.
Well, thanks. That was a really good presentation. I'm all about protecting integrity brand. Do you have anything that's going to protect this software that you're developing, these apps? Do you already have anything to protect it?
Yeah, so we have RentCheck trademarked, and then we have a patent filed for the way we capture and compare photos to assess damage on properties.
And is your ultimate plan to, supply this to the realtors out there, all the major real estate companies, for their agents to promote?
Yeah, the plan right now is we're a standalone product and we're building out our open API. So we want to be kind of the trusted backbone when it comes to documentation and interacting with residents when it comes to that.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, it's Mark Rockefeller. That was a great pitch, very, very professional. Obviously, if your product is as good as you say it is, and I believe that it is, it's great technology. It's all about then distribution. One thing that I didn't sort of get in your pitch: are you selling to the tenants, or to the landlords, or to the property managers? And what kinds of partnerships are you going to use to scale this distribution?
Yeah, so in the past, we sell to the property management companies, and we've mainly seen our growth with property management companies that have anywhere from a couple units to 10,000 properties in their portfolio, and then they push our product by inviting their residents. And the great thing is that as the residents use our product and they move, they take our product with them and they use it on prior properties, and it's free lead generation for us to new property management companies. So right now we're selling to property management companies. In the future, we want to offer and partner with larger property management software companies so that we can be, have an integration and be the backbone for when it comes to property inspections.
Okay. And then a follow-up, if I could, what kind of partnerships are out there? Trade associations of these property managers, that kind of thing that you can partner with. I mean, again, it seems like a pure distribution game to me.
Yeah, so we just recently partnered with a company called Neighborly Brands, which owns a whole bunch of home services companies. One is called RPM, which is the largest property management franchise, which they have 70,000 properties. So we're going to have a vendor agreement with them, and they would then partner with us to market to their franchisees. There's a bunch of all of our customers use a back-end system like Buildium, Appfolio, and so creating a partnership with them where we integrate and then we jointly sell to their customers. Those are the type of partnerships that we're going after.
Thank you.
Hey, Marco, this is Patrick Murphy. Thanks for your service in the Navy, but go Army this Saturday. Quick question for you. Obviously, on military installations, a couple decades ago, they really pushed the onus of privatizing on post housing or on installation housing. And we've seen rapid growth of mold and some real issues. And now, obviously, with COVID, the lack of inspections, et cetera. Are you in the government space at all? Is that the plan? Walk me through that if you would mind.
Yeah, so we are not in the government space or kind of the Section 8, for as well, or yet. And the reason for that was because over the last year, as a startup, you have to grow, quickly to show traction. And these smaller property management companies have been able to make decisions, onboard us very quickly. Now, we do think there is a big population, the military being one, Section 8 being another one, that is an underserved kind of community that deposit really, really matters. And those properties are kind kind of those are the only option that those people have, and we want to make sure that they're up to the standards. And so we think would be able to partner in the future and go after those types of markets.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Super interesting presentation. I love the tech-enabled approach. I was wondering if you have any idea about how you could monetize the renters. It sounds like, to Mark's question, your paying customer is really that property manager, but I'm picturing sort of like during a lease, my light breaks and I can take a picture and it kind of connects me to an Angie's List or a TaskRabbit or something like this. Is there any way you're going to monetize that sort of occupant of the space?
Yeah, so there's a couple ways we're going to do that. One, that we're already looking at is renter's insurance. So we already actually collect the correct information that the insurance companies need to offer them renter's insurance. And most of these renters, if they're going to document at move-in, they could get renter's insurance or document their belongings very quickly to get a discount on that renter's insurance. We did launch a module just a couple weeks ago, which are called now maintenance checks, where the property owner can then have the resident, and this is big for our customers in Florida, they just have to do a quick check, like take a photo of the old air filter, put in a new air filter. And we've had residents in those places ask us if they could purchase air filters from us. So there's lots of, as we get more into the maintenance, there's a lot of things we want to do there. And then kind of the last thing is that most renters don't get their deposit back on time to put down on the next property they're moving to. And so if we already know what the property looks like that they're moving out of, we could assist them in floating that deposit for a small fee. So they're not out of pocket two deposits, and they can move, with much less of a financial burden.
Thank you.
Hi, I think you did an excellent job. So my question is, on top of the monetization, you talked about there being tiers that you're going to offer. So what is the $32 I think you mentioned versus the premium? Like what features are you getting that's more than the $32?
Yeah, so currently we're charging for just our inspection software, and then what we're talking about being able to charge and add on to that is when we layer in the maintenance, module into our product, and then streamlining the security deposit and being able to hold that and transfer that for the renter on behalf of them, so that they can have much more financial flexibility when it comes to moving and not relying on getting that deposit back in a timely manner.
Hey, it's Mark again. Question about sort of managed services that you're doing that come along with this. I mean, you've got software, it's an app, so it should be basically infinitely scalable, unless there's a services component, which then adds a cost for you to scale. Can you speak to that services piece?
Yeah, we have no service component right now. I mean, the only component we have is to assist the property managers getting their properties uploaded and up and going. And then we do have customer support if residents are downloading the app and they have any issues within the app or in their inspection. We use a system called Intercom that we can chat with them. Other than that, our margin is very high when it comes to our software service.
Okay. So there's no services that the property manager is paying you for outside the software?
No, we're pure technology. Yeah.
How did you get to Neighborly?
We have several customers of theirs, and my co-founder pitched one of the RPM franchisees, who is the corporate partner with Neighborly, and she pushed it up to them to say, hey, this is a new software that we think should be offered, and you should do a deal with, because we think all franchises should use it.
And time is up. Thank you, Marco. Very good presentation. We want to continue to recognize our dedicated team of volunteers. Our advisory team includes Chris Malaro from Neuroflow, Jerry Flanagan from J-Dog Brands. Additionally, David Shade from At Attention Dog Training helped engage our alumni this year. Justin Constantine, a previous keynoter, also works with JobPath. Luke Hutchinson from Perfect Venue and James Rowland from Cowboy Crickets all have had a hand in shaping this year's event. Thank you, and thank you for your time and energy. Our second to last contestant is Adam Nelson, founder of Philadelphia Esports. Adam, as a reminder, you have 8 minutes to share your story with the judges, and your time starts now.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Adam Nelson. I'm the founder and CEO of Philly Esports, and it is an absolute pleasure to be presenting for you this evening. Esports. I'm sure all of you know about the NFL, the MLB, the NHL, and all traditional sports. But esports is going to be larger than all of them combined. And that might seem absolutely ridiculous to you tonight, but let me give you a number for some context. In 2019 alone, the esports industry had over 500 million individual viewers across all of their events. And that number is only getting larger. So I'm a farm boy that was raised in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I spent my earliest days shoveling horse manure and running fence. I was also kind of a nerd in school. I didn't really have a lot of friends. Video games quickly became a deep passion of mine. It was an opportunity for me to escape from reality. And through video games was where I first got introduced to the US military. I learned about units and weapons and tactics, and I became enthralled with what the military represented. Fast forward to being 18-year-old Adam, and I'm driving down the turnpike going to my first full-time job out of high school. Coming down the other side of the turnpike is a full caravan of US Army National Guardsmen, fully kitted out, going to do some training. In that moment, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. So instead of going to my full-time job and stocking shelves, I pulled off the turnpike, found the first Army recruitment center I could find, and I enlisted in the US Army. 2 weeks later, I left for basic training. When I got off active duty, I realized I wanted to find a new mission, something that I could commit myself to just like I did in the military. So in January of 2019, I ran my first ever esports event at a college here in Philadelphia where 30 kids came together to play a game called Fortnite. And after that event was over, I realized I wanted to be involved in the esports industry. I've been keeping a close eye on the esports industry for a long time now, particularly the collegiate esports space. The graph you see on your screen now is the scholarships that have increased over the last few years. And this number is only getting larger. Colleges are recognizing the opportunity that esports provides to their institutions, not only as an amazing recruitment tool, but an opportunity to bring a community together they've never touched. Especially now during the COVID-19 pandemic, esports is one of the only competitive environments that's available that allows people to remain socially distant. There are roughly 6,700 colleges in the United States alone. 71% of colleges and universities that do not yet have an esports department are looking to start one in the next few years. Colleges are seeing the potential that esports have, and they're adapting it more and more. By the end of this year, the esports market is going to grow to over $1.1 billion in revenue, and that number is only going to get higher. And it's a ridiculously huge number, and this is just the beginning of the opportunity that's available in the esports market. So what does the current collegiate esports landscape look like? Well, our current competitors are falling short, offering little more than just a website. There's little to no league organization. There's barely any marketing for the teams in the leagues, and the scheduling is done on a week-to-week or a day-to-day basis. So this evening, I'm incredibly excited to tell you all about our answer to the current collegiate esports space, the ACES series. This past October, we ran our first ever pilot season with the 6 colleges you see on your screen this evening. Not only did this give us an opportunity to truly learn what these universities and colleges are looking for out of an esports collegiate league, but allow us to test our assumptions, to truly understand what it takes to make the best esports league available for colleges and universities. And the greatest thing about this is that 4 of the 6 colleges are already coming back in our spring semester as paid clients. So what is it that we're actually doing? Well, first and foremost, we do the full schedule up front, allowing schools to know who they're playing and when to help build out those rivalries. We give all of the colleges a complete set of marketing material so they can promote every single week. We broadcast all of our games on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook with professional casters and professional equipment. So imagine ESPN and the NCAA merging into one entity, and that's the ACES League. So why are we the right team to do this? Passion, commitment, understanding of the esports industry. My team and I have been running events for the last 2 years, truly learning what it takes to make esports successful and what really matters to the players. I was that 15-year-old kid who loved gaming and had no idea that esports was even a thing. But now I'm able to give back to this community because it is a thing now, and I'm absolutely in love with it. So what does it look like for one team to get involved? Well, each quarter, we provide up to 3 leagues doing games such as Rocket League, Hearthstone, and Super Smash Brothers. Every league is $2,000 for a team to register. Over the course of this year, we have 9 leagues. There's potentially 12 teams per league, which brings us in roughly $216,000 in revenue just from registrations. For each league, we also provide sponsorship opportunities, just like the Shark Tank. And if we're able to get all of these sponsorship slots filled for all of our leagues, for this year alone, we're looking at $90,000 worth of revenue. Now, these numbers are small, but that's because this is our first year truly executing on these leagues. As our teams rise and we get more colleges involved, we can offer bigger and bigger sponsorship opportunities for our partners. Our 3-year roadmap is incredibly aggressive because the esports market is gigantic and we know the opportunity that's right here. We are at the top of this wave and it is about to crash, and we're ready to grab our board and ride that wave in. So by the end of 2023, we're hoping to have 100 leagues, 1,300 sponsorships, and getting over $4 million in revenue. And yes, that is a real number. This $50,000 investment from this competition is going to do a world for us. We're starting off, we're getting this league up and running, and we know the opportunity, but we need to build out our collegiate pipeline. We need to get these colleges engaged and excited to be involved with the best esports league that's available. This money is going to infuse our ability to execute this league at the highest level possible and do all the things that we need to do to make this the best option for every college that has an esports program. We are more than excited to make sure that this happens, and we are the right team to do it because we know what it takes to make this successful. Thank you so much for your time, and I really look forward to answering your questions.
Adam, that was great. Thank you very much. That's all the time you have. Actually, you didn't even use it all. So, judges, it's time for you to ask questions. Mark, you have the first question. Pitter patter, let's get at her.
Perfect. Hey, Adam, Mark Rockefeller here. That was outstanding presentation. I'm not sure if you're like doing infomercials or like you should be on TV, but you are a superb communicator. That was a great, great pitch. I have so many questions because you started off like describing a whole new industry to me that I don't really understand, right? It sounds to me like you're selling mostly the colleges, right? Your revenue is coming from principally the league fees. So you're not selling the gamers, you're selling the school teams. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. You talked about sponsorship. How many viewers do you have such that I'd be willing to pay to get my brand in front of those viewers?
Absolutely. So as we add more colleges to these leagues, our viewership numbers are going to go up. So as you saw on my slide of what would we use the money for, part of that money is going to go towards our marketing and community engagement initiatives to help build out that audience. As we add more colleges, especially larger universities across the country, they're going to bring their own audience because there's a following for those colleges and those brands. So currently, we get roughly between 50 to 100 viewers on one match, but that's only because we've ran one pilot season. As we scale this out and we get more colleges involved, those numbers are going to grow. On top of our initiatives that we're going to do in between the leagues, we're looking to get 2, 3, 4, 500 viewers and more over time, and that way we can not only sell more sponsorships, but get more people involved in our community.
Okay. If I can ask one more question. You didn't share anything about what it costs to put on these events, right? I'm trying to get a sense for what your profit margin is. I believe that enough schools will pay fees to make this thing work, but isn't it pretty expensive to put these things on? What does that cost?
So right now it costs us around $3,000 to $4,000 to put on one league. So after we get 2 teams, we're pretty much set. And what's great about the online version of these leagues is that one team can execute multiple leagues at once. So our overhead's pretty low. So once we have one team, they can do all 3 leagues at once because they're all happening on different days. So it makes it very profitable for us. As we grow and scale, we'll have to hire more teams to cover more games and more leagues and all the things that go in between. But because it's so easy to run this remotely online with a small team, the overhead's low, and we don't need to hire more and more hands to make it happen.
Thank you.
Are you paying anybody to run these leagues? Because $2,000 to $3,000 to set this thing up and actually run it. Is everyone putting in like sweat equity first? Like, it doesn't sound like it's going to cover an office payment, actually. So I'm just wondering, what are your real costs here to do this?
Right. So those are our real costs from running a pilot season to estimate what it really counts, because all the things that go into this are covered. It's not full-time work. The people can be hired part-time. They can be hired as contractors to conduct the work needed for these leagues to happen. I don't need to hire full-time staff working 40 hours a week to make it happen. Eventually, we will get there once we have enough leagues going. But because our leagues are not gigantic yet, and they will be eventually, we're able to hire contractors and pay people by the hour, which makes our costs very low for them to do the work.
So on the $4 million, what would be a nice return on that? What do you think? You're in the $4 million number.
At least half. At least half.
Okay.
Yep.
Hi, my question is about, so I can see how this is very popular right now during COVID when everybody is stuck in the house. But what is your post-COVID plan? Because I'm telling you, I had a baby at the beginning of this year, and I'm counting down the days till we're going to be outside all the time, every day. So when we're going to be released back into the wild, how do you grow when no one wants to sit in the house or no one wants to be?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we were doing before COVID was that we were executing in-person events. So all that we'll do is that we'll shift from an online model to an in-person model, because we've already been done that and we have all the resources to continue to do that. But what's great about gaming is it always is online anyway. So no matter where you host the event, you're always using an online component, and it just makes it easier. So there's a lot of unknowns in the future once COVID ends, but we're very confident in what we're able to do because we've been doing it for 2 years before COVID hit. We're very confident we can infuse the in-person events again and still bring an awesome experience, regardless if we're online or in person.
Do you think that it's harder now or before?
To run events or esports in general?
To run your business model today or before COVID?
I'd say it's about the same. There's probably more logistics when you infuse in-person events than when you're just online, but there's challenges either way, right? Not being able to see people in person and communicate, there's always challenges there. But I would definitely say that the challenges that have been brought in because of COVID replace the ones we have for the in-person. So I'd say it's about the same.
Thank you so much for that incredibly enthusiastic pitch. It was a great presentation.
Thank you.
So thinking about this business model, so much of your revenue depends on sort of the network effects, right? The land and expand. So is there kind of like a big fish in collegiate esports that you would just love to get, and what kind of impact that would have on your business?
That is a great question. So the answer to that is that there's a lot of big fish. There's a lot of universities right now that have a great reputation. For instance, Boise State is a huge esports college that we're talking to that have already tentatively said yes to one of our leagues. So that's incredibly exciting for us. But there's a lot of great opportunities, and as most people know, a lot of colleges across the United States don't have any sports at all. However, they're considering esports because the overhead's so low, because it can be done from home or on campus. So you're going to see colleges that don't typically are known for having big sports programs, but they're going to have amazing esports teams because it's just a different type of athlete, a different type of community, and a different type of skill set. So it's very interesting. But yeah, there's going to be different players that pop up all the time, but we're hoping to get everybody because we're going to provide the best service that anybody can be involved with.
Yeah, Mrs. Patrick Murphy, thank you for serving in America's varsity team, United States Army. Quick question for you. I know you mentioned events are about 3,000 to 4,000 to put on, but membership, you talked about the six of those colleges for sign up for next year. What does it cost per membership in the league?
So it's $2,000 per college per league, and they can sign up to 3 a quarter.
Great. And what do they get for that? Just their teams are in there, or do they get marketing dollars, co-branding, et cetera?
So they get 12 weeks of competitive play, a full set of marketing materials, the schedule completely done up front so they can promote rivalries or anything else, and everything is produced so they have videos that they can use to replay, go over, and share to build out more of a community for their brand.
Of those 4 colleges that just re-signed, how many are offering a scholarship program? I saw that you had that in the beginning.
So from what I understand, Right. So only one college I know offers any kind of scholarships, and I think that's Messiah University. But I might be mistaken there. But I will definitely check on that and get back to make sure I know exactly who's offering scholarships.
Okay. I chair Innovation at West Point. We have a team as well, so we should talk offline.
Absolutely.
And I'm on a board of Widener, so that's great. 5 seconds. What do you got for us?
This is an awesome opportunity. Thank you so much.
Great job.
Adam,
Great job.
way to take it to the finish line. Before we bring our last contestant to the show, remember that after JD presents, the judges will retire to a virtual anteroom to determine the winner of the 8th Veteran Shark Tank. While the judges are deliberating, everyone will get a chance to learn about our alumni and the wonderful things they have accomplished. Welcome to our 6th and final contestant for the night, JD Kameen, CEO and founder of PaintTrue. JD, just like everybody else, you have 8 minutes and your time starts now.
Good evening, Sharks and everybody watching at home. My name is JD Kameen. I'm the CEO and a co-founder of PaintTrue. First, I'd just like to thank everybody who put on this remarkable event tonight. It means the world to us as young entrepreneurs and young veterans. So thank you so much. Our company is PaintTrue, and at PaintTrue, we take your favorite memories and photographs, and we have them expertly hand-painted from scratch. PaintTrue arose from a need that I faced. That's my wife, Liza, on the right-hand side of the screen. We were high school sweethearts. We grew up as next-door neighbors, and as we approached our one-year wedding anniversary, I needed to nail it and rock the gift out of the park. I wanted something that was personal, high quality, and I needed it to be simple because I was a young first lieutenant on the run in flight school. I realized over years and years of dating, and I'm sure the Sharks, you feel the same way, you have hundreds and hundreds of photographs on your phone, and you have no idea what to do with them. I realized as we approached our wedding anniversary that giving a printed photograph or a framed photograph just felt cheap and ubiquitous. I needed to go one step further. And what made it really special for Liza and I is when I was a first lieutenant, I was diagnosed with a really rare facial nerve disorder. You'll probably be able to notice that I struggle with facial expressions. So showing emotion has always been really difficult for me. And one way I was able to do it was through artwork. So I wanted to give something to Liza because when I was diagnosed with this, she was such a strong wife and friend to me. So I wanted to commission a custom piece of artwork. I went to a local gallery and I worked directly with the gallery owner, and he couldn't have been more gracious with his time or his expertise. But what I found along the way is commissioning a custom piece of artwork through a gallery is really intimidating and hard. The different styles that were available in the gallery were really confusing. And the timeline for the overall process was quoted in months, so I would miss the deadline. And the price that I was quoted ranged from $300 to $3,000. So it was all over the place. So what I ended up doing was what I was most comfortable with as a millennial buyer. I messaged that photograph of my wife, Liza, to an artist that I really respected through Instagram. He lives in Seoul, South Korea. He hand painted it on watercolor paper. And in less than 3 weeks, rolled in a tube at our front door, I received the most beautiful portrait of my best friend and my wife. When I gave it to her, she wept. You'll see it on the right-hand side of the screen. It was just amazing. It took us back to that day. It filled us with emotion, and it just encapsulated the whole day perfectly. And what I found was that many people were interested in this, and not only was our product amazing, the market opportunity here is absolutely massive. In 2019, $135 billion were spent on e-commerce gifts. And of that, a quarter was handmade or craft items. What we're finding at PaintTrue after our first year of operation is that people are coming to us to mark their most special occasions, wedding and anniversaries, which is an additional $20 billion market. So people are sending us their favorite images from this incredible day, and we're matching them with an artist that expertly hand paints it. I am also a PaintTrue customer. My grandfather suffered a massive stroke 17 years before he passed away, and I never got to meet the man that I heard these great stories about, a vibrant young engineer that was full of life and energy. I met a man that was struggling with constant disability. And so when I commissioned a portrait for him and my mother, it was like I got to meet that man again. He looked like me in the portrait. And it just gave me a little bit of closure, and it hangs in our house in South Carolina. So any of the sharks or people watching will likely interact with one of these brands on the screen this summer or next if they attend a wedding in person, wearing a mask, or virtually. These are, companies that you're familiar with. From left to right, you'll see varying degrees of personalization. And from bottom to top, you'll see varying degrees of quality. The reason Paintrue is in the top right is because we're a completely white glove service. We only ship to the customer when it's approved and they say it's perfect, and it's 100% customizable along the way. So we are confident that the artists we've sourced and the product we ship is absolutely incredible. And this is our team. And the fun part about this slide is these are professional photographs that we actually had hand painted for every single one of us. So you can see the amazing detail that comes through in the portraits. We obviously have a strong exposure to the US Naval Academy. I have a background in public relations, which has led to some of the biggest media outlets in the world writing about how military officers are inspiring artists globally. Eric Catani, after playing football at the Academy, also played for the Patriots, and he's one of the most incredible artists I've ever met. He quality controls every single piece that comes through our warehouse. My wife, Liza Kameen, is our chief marketing officer after the first year of launch. She's also 9 months pregnant, so she'll be stepping down in about 2 weeks. I didn't even know you could be 9 months pregnant, but she's an absolute amazing person, and we're excited about our new full-time hire. All things financial is Brendan Aronson. I flew to Wharton a year ago and convinced him to drop his offer at Goldman Sachs to come sell artwork online, and it's just been an absolute joy working with him. And all things technical is one of my dearest and oldest friends, Andrew Mighty, finishing up his master's in cybersecurity and engineering at NYU. So an amazingly humble, gracious, emotion-filled team, but also fiercely competitive and fun to work with. And this is what we're going to use the grant for, and I think this is the most important part of our pitch. On the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see Staff Sergeant William Bradley. He's a young father, a single father of 2 beautiful daughters. He's a multiple combat deployment veteran, and he's also an outstanding artist. Like me, he has trouble expressing his emotions too, and he does it through artwork. That's a photograph that was commissioned by him through Paintrue, and it's going to go hang on somebody's wall, and it'll be an incredible piece. On the right-hand side is what we're really excited about. That's Aiden Casey. She has over a decade of e-commerce and startup experience. She'll be coming on board as our chief marketing officer. And what a wonderful opportunity for Paintrue that we can serve another side of this service family. Her husband is a full-time Marine officer, F-18 pilot stationed overseas. She's serving her nation in another way, and we're so excited to grow with her in 2021. So that's us. This is our product. These are actual products that we've shipped to customers. In our first year of sales, we did $100,000 with no marketing spend. And in the last 4 months, we've already done $100,000 in revenue. We're really excited from the early traction we're seeing. We have 15% of our customers returning for more. And I have to point out, because we're also thrilled about selling custom artwork, if anyone at home needs a last-minute Christmas gift, Shark 15 is a little thank you from us for this amazing event. And the top right-hand side of the screen, you'll see my favorite portrait and all of the founders' favorite portrait. That's Isla. She is half Cherokee, and her name means flower child. And her mother commissioned that because she felt like that was the only way that she could take herself back to the emotion of that day. We are an emotional company. We love hearing and learning from our customers. We work with every single one of our customers directly, and we really feel like they become our family. So I'm incredibly grateful for your time. Sorry I can't move my eyebrows, but it's just part of my story, and I'm so excited for your questions. Thank you.
JD, thank you very much. Great presentation. Patrick, it's your turn to lead off the questions. 8 minutes starts now.
Hey, JD, welcome to Beat Navy Week. Thanks so much for your service in the Marine Corps and continued service as a veteran. Quick question for you. Do most people get pictures and put them in, in a canvas, or do most other folks kind of start from scratch?
Yeah, so we really are white glove. And when somebody comes to us, they can pick a few different options. But what we're finding is people are gravitating towards a framed canvas that's hand painted in oil. That's really what the American buyer is looking for. And so that's been really great to see in our first year of data collection, is that this is what our customers are gravitating towards. And so we're really able to market it across all of these different categories.
And how much does average product cost?
Our average order value is $416, and our lifetime value right now is a little over $560 because people are returning for multiple occasions.
And how much does it cost you to do it via one of your artists?
Our margins vary across the different sizes, complexity, and mediums. But usually, like any other e-commerce site, we can run between a 40% profit margin all the way up to 70% if it's a simpler, very large canvas. So we're really excited about maintaining that profit margin in the first year. And we really haven't seen any erosion of that trying to appeal to a large market.
Do you have any debt, or have you raised any money yet?
We don't have any debt. We raised $500,000. We're committed up to that point, and we're really excited about that. The team of investors that we brought on are so passionate about artwork and supporting veterans that it just feels like a really, really nice relationship. So that's where we are with our raise, and that's what gives us a little bit of flexibility to do this amazing outreach with this grant. So we're kind of that perfect size company where $50,000 makes a tremendous difference. And all of our families are watching this at home and they're rooting us on. So we're really excited to be positioned where we are.
And where do you think you need to be in sales to break even to carry that massive payroll you showed us in your staff?
There's a lot of mouths to feed, especially Andrew. He eats the most.
Yeah.
We need to sell probably $50,000 to $60,000 worth of artwork a month to break even. That's where we feel comfortable with. So we're young and we're still running in the red a little bit each month, but with scale, our margins actually do better because we can ship multiple paintings in each tube. So a big portion of our cost is shipping, and that'll come down, which we're really excited about.
Thanks.
My question is about the white glove. First of all, thank you for your service. Also, the white glove is very appealing, but how do you not fall prey to the perfectionist? So if you're going, if they don't like it, you're like, hey, we'll redo it. You're incurring a loss every time you would have to fix it. So how do you navigate those type of customers?
That's such a good operational question. And luckily, we were able to figure out a way to almost completely minimize returns. So the artist actually sends a wet revision directly to the customer. So while the painting is still wet, the customer can request any edits. So the painting is still malleable. So when the customer says it's perfect, please ship it, that's when the artist will spend about 48 hours allowing the oil to set and dry. So the customer says it's perfect, it's approved. We celebrate because we're all so excited. The artist rolls it and ships it to our warehouse in Ohio, and then we ship it along to the customer. So our customer
Go ahead.
So our customer satisfaction rate is over 99.97% because they're part of the process. And that's so rare in the creative experience because sometimes it can be really hard or awkward to give feedback to artists. But we've maintained such a great relationship with artists around the world that we kind of speak their same language and we can give feedback in a very creative way.
In that contract, though, I guess they're saying once we sign off on the wet painting, then we'll take on the cost if we still don't like it after.
Yeah, so we've found that the artists are really willing to work on multiple revisions. I think out of 1,000 people we've painted, I think one has come back because the customer actually selected the wrong medium. They selected watercolor instead of oil. So when the wet revision came back, they said, this actually doesn't look like what I was expecting. And so that was the first time we encountered that the customer is indeed always right, and we can do better educating them along the way.
Hey, JD, it's Mark Rockefeller. Really, really good pitch. You have a way of presenting things in just an authentic, genuine way. Just a great presentation. You hit me here at a great time. I'm actually in my home office. Right upstairs here is a heritage hall that I'm building right now of all the folks in my family that have served in the military. And the idea was to take photos back from like World War II and I and so forth, send them to somebody like you and have great paintings done. So I've been like looking at this market for a little while. Real custom commission paintings, I'm in the thousands. There's folks online who will do it for $150, $200. Your price point seems somewhere in the middle. Help me as a consumer, like make sense of this price point, right? Like why pay $400 when I can pay $200 somewhere else?
You are so right. And we see that too. One of the advantages that we have is that we have one of the world's largest custom artwork Instagram pages. So we have about 430,000 people that follow us. The vast majority of those are gallery quality artists. So we can source artists anywhere in the world, and we already know what their price point is. So we're the experts. You're basically saying, JD, I'm going to hand that burden over to you. You're going to source the artist. I'm going to pay the premium for this white glove service. And that's how we can find that sweet spot of price, the sweet spot of quality, and make sure that Mark's final, memorial wall is absolutely perfect. That's really what you're trusting us with. And that's something really that Etsy can't do.
Got it. Great answer.
Thank you so much for that great presentation and sharing your story with us. I have a question on the supply side of your marketplace. So how are you identifying artists, validating them, and kind of keeping them on platform throughout this?
That was the first thing that when I flew to Wharton and talked to Brendan about, he said, how does this actually work operationally? How do you quality control artists along the way? How do you make sure you can do 100,000 paintings a month? And so as we tackle scale questions, we're actually finding that in our first year, quality control was actually quite easy because we have access to these artist portfolios prior to working with them. So it's almost like working with a copywriter and saying, can I see some of your previous work? Oh, you're an amazing writer. This is going to be a great relationship. And then as we scale, we're just going to continue leaning on our Instagram and our relationships with art brokers around the world. And we already know that with our team in place and our supply side, we can do 10,000 paintings a month.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Live.
5 seconds. What do you got for us?
Go Navy.
Go Navy, beat Army.
Oh, we got that in.
All right, go Navy, beat Army. JD, thank you for a great presentation.
Good job.
Judges, thank you for all your great questions. Your time is up, and now it's time for you to retire to your virtual anteroom to determine the winner. I don't envy your job. All the contestants did a great job tonight.
J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling.
It's a national junk removal company that franchises exclusively to vets.
The Jeep turned into a Hummer. The Hummer turned into a Wrap. The Wrap turned into a dog. Before you know it, I'm going to the VA hospital and I'm hiring veterans. And I'm like, man, this feels really good.
It's respect, integrity, and trust. And when you have a veteran that you know their work ethic, you know what they've been trained to do, you put them in our system, it's a perfect match. So the goal for us is get the unemployment rate under 1% for veterans. We're on our way.
You ever wonder why we still buy and sell homes the same old way?
Now's the time to buy a home.
Other industries have progressed in favor of the customer, but real estate has lagged behind. Until now. Hauser's salaried realtors will save you an average of $15,000 when you sell your home and focus on your goals, not commissions when you buy one. Save when you sell and trust when you buy. Check out Hauser before you're stuck buying and selling homes the old way.
NeuroFlow is a scalable care management solution for measurement-based behavioral health in all care settings. The award-winning company has quickly become a leader when it comes to empowering organizations to effectively measure and manage behavioral health.
Here at NeuroFlow, our whole mission is to make mental health a part of physical health, helping the patient get better faster.
NeuroFlow's core values guide our mission of supporting care providers in their endless pursuit to help patients feel better, faster.
We look at healthcare problems very dynamically. Everyone brings a part of the solution to the table. We have data scientists, engineers, and product developers. We've teamed up with other healthcare systems from around the country, including health plans and even patients. to come to the table, to collaborate and partner together so we can create the best, most effective tools for the patients that deserve them the most.
At Neuroflow, we're driven by the challenging yet rewarding opportunity to build and grow the most comprehensive behavioral health solution.
Hi, I'm Dave. I'm the owner and operator of At Attention Dog Training and head trainer. So I joined the Army at the age of 18 years old, became a cavalry scout, joined the 82nd Airborne, eventually served a tour overseas in Afghanistan for 15 months. Best experience of my life. I wouldn't change a thing, but it was tough. There were wounds after coming back, physical and mental. When I was overseas, I had gotten hit by 2 IEDs back to back. These are improvised explosive devices, which are essentially roadside bombs. Within 30 days of each other, I think they were. It was a trying experience for sure, but I wouldn't change anything about it, or I wouldn't change anything about the entire tour overseas at all. It's part of who I am today, and it's honestly part of what I do today and why I do what I do.
Yes, good boy, very good. Okay, good boy, yeah.
I found myself after my tour of duty back home and living in an apartment by myself. I had always wanted a dog. I decided that I was at a point in my life where I could finally have one. I ended up getting a female boxer named Lulu. I found in that moment that the unconditional love and the power of healing that dogs can bring to us is powerful, almost to the point of saying that it saved my life. So many years later, I had 3 dogs, finished with college. I decided I would start my own business. This was always kind of the inevitable plan. I always wanted to do something with dogs. That's what I knew, whether it was now or whether it was when I retired. So overnight, on a whim, I said, you know what, I'm gonna become a dog trainer. So I stopped everything I was doing and created this business, went and got myself academically trained by a fantastic school, and just started taking clients, and it got very, very busy. And I think people found a need for this service. I think the reason for that is because finding a trainer that has the skill, the knowledge, the ability, the fidelity, the integrity, their values taught to the servicemen and women in our military. And I apply those values to what I do with dog training.
The Veteran Shark Tank Alumni Badge is one key way to highlight the Veteran Shark Tank alumni. The alumni proudly display the badge on their websites and on social media. I just heard from the judges, and they have a winner. Please welcome back all 6 contestants and all the judges to the show. You all did a great job tonight. The competition actually this year was more fierce than any other year before. If you don't win, don't feel like you lost. You just got beat by somebody that was a little bit better, which should drive you to work a little bit harder next time. A huge round of applause for our contestants and our judges. And the winner of the 8th Veteran Shark Tank is Marco Nelson from Get Rent Check. Congratulations, Marco, for earning the $50,000. Marco, congratulations again. Everybody, make sure you save the date for the 9th Veteran Shark Tank to be held in Philadelphia on December 6th, 2021. Monitor our social media for all the details. Thank you for a great night and have a good weekend.